stop. A family shop. Think Thayer. Come on, let's get rolling. Come on, let's get moving. Think Thayer.
First of all, I just want to thank our fans. I had another great crowd today. They came early for the senior ceremony to honor Miriam Justinger and Lauren Tibbs, and they didn't stop clapping for them the entire game, and just so happy. Our community loves those kids like no other. Our staff loves them, and that I'm just so happy we were able to honor them the way we did, and be able to recognize them and get a standing ovation, because basketball's hard. It's a tough sport physically, it's a tough sport mentally, and those two have been through the quote-unquote proverbial wars, have battled through injuries, and have stepped up. And again, just want to thank them as well. I know Miami's battling through some tough injuries, similar to some of the injuries that we had last year. But with that said, that's a talented group that showed up today, and they play hard. And that's all you can ask for teams to play hard when you have injured kids, and they're doing that. But I thought some early keys for us. I mean, we had 6 different kids hit a three-pointer. We out-rebounded Miami by double digits, and then we had 5 kids in double-digit scoring. When you have that balance, I think that makes for a result in that score today against them. But on a side note, really happy for Miriam Justinger. She was 12 points away from 1,000, and that's a benchmark as a collegiate student athlete to get that number, and really happy that she was able to get that 1,000 point today on a play call where Sarah Bear and Haley Puck just nailed some screens, and Miriam was able to elevate into her shot at the top of the key, and the crowd was deafening, just really deafening. So again, it was a great team effort. As I mentioned, the keys were important to us, but first and foremost, just being able to honor our 2 seniors on senior day is always a special moment, and our fans rose to the occasion because they love them as much as we do.
I just want to confirm, the play call for Miriam's last 3, that was called for her to take that shot?
Yes.
Okay. Will you talk a little bit, you got obviously a lot from Lauren and from Miriam, but you also had some of your underclassmen step up, kind of a glimpse into the future, whether it's Lambert or Santoro. Can you talk a little bit about that weighing of the present with the future?
Well, we had 20 points off the bench. I mean, when you get Santoro and Kirkpatrick came in together and were a great combination for us, scored on their first touches in the first half and really set the tone. They got additional minutes in the second half and kept it going. But I thought we did a great job of sharing the ball, and that's something that we always talk about in practice and drill. But we had 28 field goals, 16 of those came on assists from those. But I'm happy with our young group, but really happy with contributions from everybody today. And again, I can go from list everybody in numerical order on how well they did and talk about some of their strengths. But this was a great team win today. The energy in the Stroh Center and the energy, no matter who was in the game, was just really loud and electric, and use any adjective you want, but it felt really good, and our kids responded to that positive energy very well.
And you mentioned keys to the game, the variety of scorers, the rebounds. Can you also talk a little bit about the turnovers that you guys forced them into? I mean, 7 in the first quarter, and that's a big reason. They had as many points as turnovers in the first quarter.
They did, and a lot of those turnovers were caused by deflections. I know Abby Siefker had 3 deflections herself. We were able to dig in and get some deflections off the bounce by a couple of their drivers also in the first half. But They had 16 turnovers, but I'm proud that we only had 10. They played a 2-3 zone. They played a extended buzz defense where they can trap the point guard right away as soon as she crosses half court. They've got a kind of a variety of levels of intensity in their buzz defense, and then they can play man, and they defended our ball screens a couple of different ways. So I thought our kids were really focused and responded to no matter what defense the Redhawks played against us tonight.
How important was it to really just kind of come out and set the tone early for the way you guys were able to?
Big key. With a crowd like this on senior day, as I said, you felt an extra energy in the arena, and our kids responded. We ran some new quick hits in the first half, and we're able to have in the first quarter, we're able to have good balance in that first quarter too. Even though the first play of the game was a charge by Tibbs on a flop, and then the next play I think was a turnover trying to make an extra pass, but we kept our composure and were able to execute in that first quarter, which made a difference, because the first time we played them at their place, I mean, we were down by 14 and shot the ball extremely well in the second half, over 50% in the second half to win that by 6, and it was a big key, as you said. I mean, that's a no-brainer statement to make anytime you step up and make shots in the first quarter.
What's the message to the team, Coach, after a performance like this today? Obviously 2 tough road games coming up and the MAC tournament looming there. Everything's still right there for them moving forward, or what do you?
Well, this potentially could be our last home game, so we wanted to honor the seniors. We knew we'd have a great crowd today. We wanted to get kind of our flow back. I mean, we played very well at Buffalo at times, and then a couple times we had some letdowns at key moments, and some calls didn't go our way. But again, Buffalo beats Ohio today, who's in first place in the MAC right now for their second time. So it's a tough place to play up there, and it's a team that's the only team that has 2 losses but 2 OU has been handed to them by Buffalo. But we've got our work cut out for us the rest of the way with Ohio and Akron on the road. We'll be playing on Akron senior day, but we wanted to come out and execute well today, and I think that was important. We talk about we're better than our record. Unfortunately, people see our record, and unfortunately, people say, what's wrong? As opposed to, hey, good job, you're playing with some young kids. Hey, you've got injuries again, you're playing through that. Hey, you all are doing the right things, the ball's not falling. So that's something that we talk about when you get knocked down to get back up, and that's hard to do, not only as a staff, but when you're between 18 to 22 as well. But this is a game where they stepped up after an opportunity. They had an opportunity to win at Buffalo, but didn't. But they stepped up today. So we've got 2 more games before the MAC tournament, and there were a couple other upsets in the league, and it's March. So it's anybody's tournament. There are some teams that I know probably a lot of fans in the stands today would bet a lot of money that this team would win over that team and vice versa, and it didn't happen today. So March is going to be fun. Tournament time for sure, but we need to be able to play well in these next 2 road games, and then more than likely we'll be on the road for our first round MAC game.
Some of the buzz in the stands right now is after today's performance, you look great. Of course, you're playing a team that was struggling a little bit this year. Do you feel like your team's playing their best ball right now? Do you feel good about where you're at in the season moving forward?
They're they shot the ball well today. We were recognizing defenses better today. As I mentioned earlier, Miami threw a lot at us. But again, this is a Miami team that almost beat Akron the other night, has played people well. They're battling some injuries, but they've got talented kids. I mean, this is not a bad Miami team, even with their injuries. So, again, it's a very good win for us. This is a rivalry game. In my eyes, this is a lot of people look at the team up north and they look at the team down south. I know them as Toledo and Miami, but other fans don't even call them by name. So this is a game that we wanted to win at home. But like I said, to recognize while recognizing our 2 seniors for their contributions.
When you mentioned that there's been talk about this team being better than it's, fighting the negative perceptions. Has it been hard for the team to grasp that, or have you had to fight a mental battle there? Do you see what I'm asking?
We talk about when you get knocked down, you got to get up, and that shows some resolve. We had Toledo at home. We fell into an early hole. We did not shoot the ball well, but you saw some fight. The game's tied with 4 minutes to go. We played Ball State at home. Game's tied with 4 minutes to go. We have 5 bad minutes against Ohio, who's first in the league, and we play even with Ohio for 35 minutes. So again, when you look at the numbers, we're better than our record, and just finding that happy medium between kind of self-confidence and not getting down is something that I think teams learn throughout the season, and they played with a lot of self-confidence today, and I'm really proud of them. Again, I could list everybody on our roster and talk about their strengths today, but the energy was very positive today, and it was a great atmosphere.